In Uzoma village, everyone knew Lola. At 17, she was a ray of sunshine, bright eyes, soft laughter, and a heart that never tired of helping others. Each morning she walked through the dusty paths with a warm smile, greeting elders cheerfully. "Good morning, Papa." "Good morning, Mama." Even the sternest old men nodded back with softened faces. Mothers scolded their children with her name. "Can't you be like Lola?" Her parents adored her. Her mother, Mama Lychee, a kind trader in the village square, often said, "Lola has my beauty, but her kindness is a gift from God." Her father, Chief Maduk, one of the respected elders, would proudly declare in meetings, "This girl is the joy of my old age." But life has a way of turning bright mornings into dark nights. One season, Lola's joy faded. She no longer sang as she fetched water. She lost her appetite, often ran outside at dawn to vomit, and her once radiant smile disappeared. Mama Lychee's motherly eyes noticed the changes. She questioned her gently at night under the moonlight, but Lola forced a weak smile. "It's just malaria, Mama. I'll be fine." Worried, Mama Lychee took her to the village healer. After a quiet examination, his words fell like stones. "Mama Lychee, your daughter is 6 weeks pregnant." When Chief Maduk returned from the elders' meeting, Mama Lychee told him. The moment the words left her lips, his chair fell as he rose, his face burning with rage. He shouted so loud that birds scattered from the trees. "Pregnant? Under my roof? My own daughter, and she refuses to name the man? She has disgraced me." The news spread like wildfire, and soon neighbors gathered in the compound, whispering. Some pitied Lola, others mocked. Kneeling in the center of the yard, tears streaming down her cheeks, Lola begged her father. He stood before her with a cane, but did not strike. His pride was wounded. "You were the pride of this house," he said, his voice trembling with anger. "Now you bring shame. If you want to live like an adult, go and do so. From today, you are no longer my daughter." Gasps filled the air. Mama Lychee fell beside her child, clutching her. "She is our only child. Please, my husband, don't cast her out." Even Mr. Ndu, Chief Maduk's close friend who had just returned from abroad, begged on her behalf. But Chief Maduk's heart was like stone. He packed Lola's belongings, threw them outside, and locked the doors. Through her tears, Lola whispered to her mother, "If I told you who did this, no one would believe me. They'd call me a liar." With that, she walked barefoot out of the compound. The villagers muttered, "I thought she was different. She fooled us all." The road stretched endlessly before Lola. She walked past the market where she once played as a child, past the flowers she used to pick for her mother. Now, the same neighbors who once praised her avoided her eyes. By nightfall, exhausted and hungry, she sat in front of a closed stall. From her small bundle, she pulled out the yam porridge Mama Lychee had given her. It was slimy, but she ate in silence, tears rolling down her face. Using the nylon bag as a pillow, she slept on the cold floor under the stars. At dawn, voices woke her. A crowd had gathered, some mocking, some curious. One woman, different from the rest, stepped forward. Her name was Mama Ife, her voice soft but commanding. "Why are you here, my child?" With trembling lips, Lola answered, "My father chased me out because I am with child. I have nowhere to go." The crowd dispersed, but Mama Ife stayed. She stretched her hand. "Come with me. I will take care of you." Mama Ife's home was poor. Cracked walls, just 2 tiny rooms, but warm. She treated Lola like her own. She bought her clothes, rubbed her feet with shea butter, and ensured she ate well. For the first time since Exile, Lola felt safe. But safety can be an illusion. One stormy night, Lola went into labor. The rain roared, lightning cracked, and Mama Ife held her hand. "Push, my child. You are stronger than you know." Hours later, Lola gave birth to a baby girl. With tears of relief, she named her Kamsi, as I asked God. But one midnight, as Kamsi slept peacefully, Lola heard whispers. Pressing her ear to the door, she froze. Mama Ife's voice, "She has no family. 650,000 naira and a bag of rice, and the baby is yours tomorrow night." Through a crack, Lola saw a wealthy man counting money. Her heart sank. The woman who cradled her feet at night was preparing to sell her baby. Before the rooster crowed, Lola tied Kamsi tightly to her chest and fled barefoot into the dark. She walked until her legs shook and her stomach growled. The sun rose high and hot before she reached another town. At the market, she begged for water. Some traders ignored her. Others drove her away with harsh words. Broken, she sat at the roadside, whispering to her baby, "God, are you still with us?" Then a neat young man stopped. He had clean shoes, a kind smile. "My name is Obi," he said. "Why sit under the sun with a child? Come with me. I'll help you. You'll be safe." Exhausted and desperate, Lola followed him. Obi's flat was modest but clean, with soft rugs, good food, and baby clothes. For months, he was kind. Lola cooked, cleaned, and cared for Kamsi grateful. Finally, she thought, someone truly helping us. But soon, cracks appeared. She noticed his eyes lingering too long, his footsteps stopping at her door at night, his shadow at the window while she washed clothes. Unease crept in her bones. One night, Obi entered her room with a sly smile. "I've sheltered you long enough," he whispered. "Now it's your turn to take care of me." Lola clutched Kamsi. "Please, you promised we were safe." Obi locked the door. "Nothing goes for nothing, Lola. You're old enough to know." At that moment, the doorbell rang. Furious, Obi stormed out, forgetting Lola had her own key. She grabbed Kamsi and escaped into the night, running barefoot, tears and fear mingling as she fled. Lola stumbled until she reached a church compound. Collapsing by the gate, she was discovered by Maman Key, the pastor's wife. With kind eyes, Maman Key lifted her. "Come inside, my child." The church became Lola's safe haven. She ate warm food, bathed, and for the first time in months, slept without fear. With the support of church sisters, she learned to bake. Soon, her meat pies and chin-chin became beloved after Sunday service. Her hands created food, but her spirit created hope. One Sunday, as Lola packed her tray, an elegant woman approached. Madame Kosi, in fine lace and perfume, studied her with interest. "You carry yourself like a queen in struggle. Come, let me help you rise higher." At first, Lola was flattered. Madame Kosi returned weekly, buying all her pastries without asking for change. She invited Lola to her mansion, where other young women in gold jewelry and fine clothes lived. They laughed loudly, but their eyes held sadness. Late one night, Lola overheard Madame Kosi on the phone. "Yes, Senator. She's fresh. This weekend, she's yours." Lola's blood ran cold. Unlike before, Lola no longer trembled. She recorded Madame Kosi's phone calls, filmed the flashy cars that collected the girls, and gathered proof. Then she made a video. Sitting in a plain room, her eyes filled with tears, but her voice steady, she confessed, "My name is Lola. I was cast out for being pregnant. I have suffered, but now I must speak." Madame Kosi exploits young women, selling them to powerful men. "I have evidence." Her video shook the internet. Activists rallied, donations poured in, and Madame Kosi vanished into hiding. The viral video changed everything. Overnight, Lola became a voice of courage across the nation. Messages poured in. "You saved my sister. Your story gave me strength not to give up." People sent her money, others offered training, and soon doors began to open. With the funds, Lola rented a small shop and hung a wooden sign, "Kamsi's Delights." What started as a simple bakery tray outside a church became a proper business. The smell of fresh bread, golden meat pies, and soft chin-chin spread down the street, pulling customers in. Her hands kneaded dough with purpose, her face glowing with pride as she worked while Kamsi played nearby. In time, her pastries weren't just food, they were stories of survival. Brides requested her cakes for their weddings, magazines wrote about her journey, and people traveled from other towns to taste her creations. She trained professionally, perfecting recipes, and expanded her shop into a company. But she didn't rise alone. Remembering the pain of rejection, she hired struggling single mothers, teaching them skills, paying fair wages, and treating them like family. Many wept the first day they received their earnings, whispering, "God bless you, Lola." Her name became a symbol. She was no longer just a girl cast out in shame. She was a woman of strength, a provider, and a leader. One sunny afternoon, 3 years after her exile, Lola was invited to a prestigious wedding, not just as a guest, but as a special pastry vendor and guest of honor. Kamsi's Delights had crafted the magnificent five-tiered wedding cake, a centerpiece admired by all. As Lola entered the hall, dressed elegantly, people turned and whispered, "Is that the cake woman? She looks more beautiful in person." She smiled, holding Kamsi's hand, proud of how far she had come. But as her eyes scanned the grand banner on the stage, her heart froze. The groom's face smiled back at her from the glossy print. It was Mr. her father's best friend, the man who had destroyed her childhood. Her chest tightened, her palms grew clammy. She could hear her heartbeat louder than the drums playing in the hall. Suddenly, the memories came rushing back. His deceitful smile, his threats, his betrayal. The bride, glowing in her gown, noticed Lola's sudden stillness. She approached joyfully. "Lola, you came earlier than expected." Her smile faded when she saw the tears welling in Lola's eyes. Lola's lips trembled. "If I tell you something, will you believe me?" she whispered. The bride nodded nervously. With tears streaming, Lola leaned close. "That man on the stage. Mr. Ndu. When I was a teenager, he hurt me. He is Kamsi's father." The bride staggered back, covering her mouth in shock. Her dream wedding crumbled before her eyes. She looked from Lola to the stage, where Mr. Ndu laughed and greeted guests, completely unaware that his darkest secret was about to be exposed. By sunset, whispers swept the hall. The bride disappeared into her dressing room, refusing to return. Then police officers arrived, their voices sharp. "Mr. You are under arrest for the abuse and exploitation of a minor." Phones flashed as guests recorded the scene. Elders who once praised him stepped aside in shame. The mighty man fell in disgrace, while Lola, the girl once cast away, stood tall in truth. After Mr. Ndu's arrest, the whole country was talking. In Uzoma, people whispered, "So Chief Maduk threw his daughter away while the guilty one was his own friend? He chose pride and shame over his only child." Chief Maduk was no longer the proud elder he once was. His compound was quiet, the walls cracked, and the flowers dried. He often sat alone, weak and full of regret, while Mama Lychee prayed every day for their daughter to return. Then, one hot afternoon, a black SUV stopped at their compound. Children ran behind it shouting, and neighbors rushed to see. When the doors opened, Lola stepped out in a simple but elegant gown, holding the hand of little Kamsi. Mama Lychee came out quickly, and when she saw Lola, she froze. "My daughter," she whispered, then ran and embraced her tightly, both of them crying. Chief Maduk slowly walked out, leaning on his stick. His voice shook. "Lola." Lola looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Now you know the truth, Papa. Mr. Ndu, the man you trusted, is Kamsi's father. You never believed me, and you cast me away." The crowd gasped. Chief Maduk's cane dropped, and he sank to his knees. "Forgive me, my child. I failed you. I let pride blind me." Lola bent down and lifted him gently. "I forgive you, Papa. That is why I came back." She handed him documents showing she had cleared his debts and bought land for her parents. Chief Maduk trembled, staring at the papers. Little Kamsi climbed onto his lap, smiling. "Grandpa, don't cry. We are family again." For the first time in years, joy filled the compound. Villagers gathered, singing not for Chief Maduk, but for the daughter who had been rejected and returned with forgiveness. After Lola's return, life in Uzoma changed. The compound that had once been silent was filled again with laughter, songs, and the sweet smell of food from Mama Lychee's kitchen. Chief Maduk, now humble, greeted people kindly and no longer walked with pride but with gratitude. Lola opened a branch of Kamsi's Delights in the village. Each morning, the smell of fresh meat pies, coconut buns, and sweet cakes filled the air. Villagers who once mocked her now lined up to buy from her, praising her strength and kindness. But Lola's work went beyond baking. She started a small foundation to help girls who had suffered like her. She gave them shelter, taught them skills, and reminded them they still had a future. Many looked up to her, not just as a baker, but as a role model. She never wore a crown, but she was celebrated like a queen. The daughter once rejected had returned to rebuild her family, restore her father's honor, and give hope to others. Lola's story reminds us that pain does not have to be the end. She was cast out in shame, yet she returned in strength. The very people who rejected her were the ones she came back to heal. Her journey shows that silence only protects abusers, but truth, though hard, brings freedom. She carried her pain quietly for years, but when she finally spoke out, her voice saved others too. The people we throw away are often the ones who return to lift us up. Lola, once a homeless girl with nothing, became a woman who restored her family's name and gave hope to countless others. Every setback can become a new beginning. Every betrayal can teach us to rise stronger. What matters is not what broke us, but what we choose to do after the breaking.